What's that noise? Winnie?
Name's Cold Steel.
What are you doing with my dumbbell handles?
Making reason from the ringing.
You haven't made it as a reviewer until you've reviewed a product from Gungnir of Norway. And yes, I originally had no idea how to pronounce their name. I'm now a true equipment influencer. I'd like to dedicate this video to Winnie, my mom, and all the teachers that told me I wouldn't amount to nothing. And don't tell the companies that sent me this stuff, and yes, I was sent these for free, but I'm not always super excited to review another barbell or similar item. Sure, there's differences between them, but you can only talk about how thick and rough a shaft is so many times before they all look and feel the same. The Dumblers are Olympic loadable dumbbell handles with built-in mechanical collars that slide and lock into place and are probably some of the most unique, innovative, if not entirely necessary, and best examples of craftsmanship I've seen in gym equipment. While I debate spending this kind of money on loadable dumbbell handles when there's so many budget alternatives out there, there's nothing that looks or functions like these, and I cannot argue with the quality or sleek design, and that's coming from me who's somewhat of a skeptical person. I gotta say, after seeing these in person, they are gorgeous. And although I wasn't into status symbols before in my gym, hence the lack of kabuki equipment, I'm really not sure what I'm gonna do with my other handles after having these. They're simply faster and more convenient versus other solutions for dumbbell handles out there. And there are other companies offering solutions for handles. So what you end up with will be determined by your wants and needs, and as always, and most importantly, how quickly the timeline of your divorce is, because these are up there in price. Let's talk about the specs real quick so you can get an idea of what I mean by craftsmanship and quality. They have a 28mm stainless steel handle, which to me for gym equipment is my favorite finish, especially in a home gym setting. And they have bronze bushings, and within those bronze bushings is a diamond pattern, which combined with the grease they're using on these, cuts down on maintenance. I honestly have no intentions of ever working on these things, and it's an example of the attention to detail that Gungnir put into them. They weigh 5.5 kilograms or 12 pounds, which is fine, but math is hard and Winnie can't count. So I'd prefer if they weighed an even amount, because when I'm really pushing myself in the gym, my brain doesn't work. The other day, I took a 45-pound plate off my bar, picked up a 45-pound plate next to it, put that one on the bar, literally getting me nowhere, and I never had to change the weight in the first place. They're just under 18.5 inches long, which is a good in-between versus some longer handles, where that extra length can really get in the way, and I know a lot of my viewers can really relate there. They have electroless nickel sleeves, which is a durable finish that will hold up well over time. And while they do have 6.25 inch loadable sleeve lengths, only 4.25 of that is actually usable, since the clip needs to sit lower so the plates can clear it when loading. And although the sleeves have grooves machined into them, the other side is actually smooth, and since they have such a solid build versus something more cheap and hollow, when loading and unloading plates, it's actually pretty quiet. And speaking of those grooves, they are gorgeously machined in there, and that's actually how the slide lock moves and locks into place, but more on that in a minute. They also have a rail on either side that guides and keeps that slide lock on the sleeves. It's an interesting and well executed idea, which makes for a really polished product. The grip length is 5.1 inches, which I've learned through extensive research is about average. The knurling feels pretty much identical to a Bella bar, which I realize from a mostly male viewer base isn't particularly helpful. So since I've gotten myself into this mess, the cat tongue knurling system. As always, let's set the stage. The Ohio bar is a 0, passive, the Midas bar a 1, and the Ohio power bar a 2. Since I've run out of J-cups, we have to award this one. I'd say it's probably a 0.5, which it's actually very clean and well done. And with a stainless steel finish, I'd say it's probably about perfect for a dumbbell. It comes with a lifetime warranty and has a weight capacity of 260 pounds, but you're probably not going to really test that because for the most part, you're probably loading up with 10-pound plates, which you're going to need a lot of because I can get 5 on per side. Though that does depend on the thickness of your plates. So a downside could be that you'd need more plates than you typically have, but that's true of all loadable dumbbell handles. And you can use larger plates, but they can get in the way of the exercise because of their diameter. Now for the most important part, the titanium slide locks, which act as your collars. They're magnetic and lock in and hold really well, which, let's be honest, is probably the only thing that matters because these front teeth are fake anyway, and I really don't want to replace them again. So the last thing I want to worry about when using loadable dumbbells is my collar sliding and me paying the price. Yeah, the build quality is incredible, but if the innovative part of the product didn't work, then what's the point? It would just be a gimmick, and that's not how I see these things. I think they're a smartly engineered system that functions much better than I'd have thought it would. I didn't really want to abuse these things because they blow away the quality of my other handles, and even their barbell, the all-rounder, which we'll probably cover in a separate video. Both of the products are just so pretty and well made that it's one of those things that you feel like you should really baby. I mean, I didn't, but I thought about it. And the slide lock collars have held up really well. Once in position, they just stay there, and they're really simple to just pick up and slide into a new position if you need to. It's intuitive and takes no thought whatsoever. Now, they're not as quick to adjust as something like a fixed dumbbell, so you're not going to be performing drop sets as efficiently. It's still a bit clunky, but they're definitely faster than other loadable dumbbells. A benefit of these collars is it makes the propping up and setting up of these dumbbells easier versus loadable dumbbell handles, which is one of the reasons I avoid those things. That and, I spent over $3,000 on a set of fixed dumbbells. And by no means am I suggesting that you're saving money by buying these things, unless the alternative is that you need to buy a full rack of dumbbells. But you are saving space. So back to the setup and propping. With these, I have more surface area of the plate resting on my thigh, which makes getting it up a little bit easier. And also, since the handles are a little bit shorter, it means they don't get in the way of each other as much for exercises where you can't always get that full range of motion with huge handles. My biggest issue with these things is that you'll often have play between the collars and the plates depending how thick your plates are. If you're used to high-end collars with that kung fu grip, it might be a turnoff. I don't really like when it's a little bit loose after I finally get it in there. Sometimes it lines up really well, but at times your plates will move around some. They still stay in place, and I haven't been gentle with these things, but it's often noticeable and you'll have no idea how well yours fit without owning them. For me, it hasn't affected how they function, and I've tried quite a few different brands on them, but it's something to know about, especially if you're using cheaper plates that don't have tighter tolerances on the collars. Now, I always do my research, and I think it's only fair to give credit where it's due, so while I did have my slide locks get stuck on my plates once, it actually got stuck on my plate snack sticker, not the plates themselves, so that's not actually Gungnir's fault. I mention this because as many reviews as possible mentioned he got his stuck in his review. And Alan Thrall has a review where he has some plates with some oversized openings, think well over 2 inches, where the low profile of this slide lock allows him to actually physically take the plates and then slide those specific plates on and off without the collar ever touching the plate. One of the things I don't like, I hate, is when companies take an Apple approach, meaning they engineer a product that only works with specifically their things. I don't want lightning cables and unique adapters. I want standardized things that work with stuff I already have. So, for example, take a look at a company like Ironmaster and their Quick Lock adjustable dumbbells. They do work, it's a cool design, and they're well made. But I don't want a set of Ironmaster specific square plates, and that's nothing against Ironmaster, just the first example that popped into my head. They're good, but I prefer simple, like myself. Now, I don't want to worry about storing extra pieces, and in the case of some adjustable dumbbells, parts and pieces breaking. I don't want to keep track of a bunch of different stuff, and this is coming from a guy who probably has more metal pegboard than anyone in their home gym. This works with my existing plates and is a durable and elegant product. Now, regarding the price, let's look at a couple high-end options. If I'm looking at a set of Rogue DB15s with a stainless steel handle, so I can get pretty close to matching the quality here, we're talking just under $400 before tax to my house, assuming I already have good collars. Listen, these things aren't cheap, and in no way am I saying they are. But if you're the type of person trying to explain to your wife why you need another kabuki product like their loadable handles, which cost over $500 shipped to me, then these, at $538 shipped to me, aren't much of a stretch. Now, if you're looking for recommendations for budget handles, well, and first of all, if you made it this far, congratulations, but I'd check out our video on Olympic loadable dumbbell handles, as there's lots of great and affordable options out there. That being said, these are a high-end option and probably the nicest piece of equipment I own. But if you're not a loadable dumbbell person, they're most likely not going to change your mind. In my opinion, they are the nicest loadable dumbbells on the market, and they do address some of the problems that loadable dumbbells have, but at the end of the day, they are still handles. Like, comment, and subscribe to boost us on the algorithm. Thanks for watching. We love your support. I'll see you next week.